Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of HospiTellTheTEA. You remember, you got to say it just like that, HospiTellTheTEA, where we are talking about different things that put a face to the hospitality industry. We definitely want to make sure that everyone has information that they wouldn't ordinarily have, but you can get on HospiTellTheTEA. Today, I'm just so excited. I'm excited to have this amazing guest on here, but I will introduce him in just a moment. But first, I just want to share a couple of things. We're going to be talking about things that involve diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Diversity, of course, having lots of different types of people, different types of ideas and cultures and religions, beliefs, that type of thing. Inclusion, making sure that they have access to be able to use everything equally. And belonging, making sure that they feel that they should utilize that access, right? So one of the things that we don't always think about, especially if you don't have this challenge in your life, is traveling when you're a plus size person, or making sure you have access to things when you are a plus size person. One of the things that I thought about and I wanted to share with you is that, do you know that the CDC says the adult obesity prevalence map shows that at least 20% of the population in every state is plus size, and 35% of the population in at least 4 states is plus size. So we out here, okay? Warmth in the winter, shade in the summer, but we are here. And did you also know that airlines have policies for what's called passenger of size? So what the intent is with this episode of HospiTellTheTEA is to help everyone to know that there is a way for you to travel, for you to do amazing things, for you to just get out there and enjoy your life, live your best life, and enjoy the world. So the guest that we have on here today is definitely going to do that. I want to just skip everything and go ahead and get him in on the conversation because I am so excited. I've talked to him briefly, and we've been talking about different things that we realize now that we have in common and everything. So we're going to just chat it up. I want to share with you the goodness that is Mr. Jeff Jenkins. Jeff Jenkins is an award-winning content creator, travel journalist, consultant, and entrepreneur. He is the founder of Chubby Diaries and the co-founder of the Black Travel Alliance. Jeff was recently named one of Travel and Leisure's 50 notable people in travel. Like, that's huge. And he has been featured by Forbes, the New York Times, Washington Post, Travel Noir, Essence, and Lonely Planet. An experienced motivational speaker, Jeff is 100% authentic, transparent, and a ton of fun. Jeff is an amazing person that is out here advocating for diversity, inclusion, and belonging for the plus size industry. And I'd love to introduce you to the amazing Mr. Jeff Jenkins. Hello, sir.
Hello. Oh man, today one of them days.
What?
And I saw those pictures, and
yeah,
it got me. It got me today.
It got you all choked up.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it's so much work that's going into what I'm doing, and to be able to see that right now, and to hear you just read off my bio. Oh man, it just got me. I needed that today.
Listen, you needed that inspiration because you are inspiring people on multiple levels. Okay. Now, personally, I'm a self-proclaimed mermaid. I own 40 swimsuits. I get to down in the water. Okay. So this is very inspiring to people who may not be as adventurous as one of the two of us. So talk to the people. Tell me about Chubby Diaries and what inspired you. I mean, I've read so much, but I want to hear from you.
Yeah, Chubby's Diary started from, I didn't want to teach anymore. I didn't want to be a high school teacher. I actually taught high school choir for 9 years.
Really? So you sing too?
Yeah, I can, but
Okay. You don't tune? Nothing? Okay.
Nothing anymore. But it was I went on a mission trip, went on that mission trip to Rwanda to go build water wells or to build gardens. And while we were there, um, we realized that the people needed water wells. So me and my friends came back and was like, yo, we should build water wells for them. And none of us as engineers, none of us knew how to get water out of the ground.
Right.
But we learned how to do it. And I'm sorry, you still got me from earlier, man. I'm still,
it's incredible.
Yeah. And so
all you've done.
Yeah. And so we were able to start this project and to be able to see something go from just a concept into like reality. And we only got to build one well. But while we were actually there building that well, I remember telling myself then that like I just want to travel the world, help people get paid to do it. And that started me on this journey of like discovering what is it like, how do I get there? What is it that I have to do to actually make it to that point? And so I had a friend named Rachel Hill who had an account called Rachel Travels, and she was a travel influencer. I remember she quit her 6-figure job to go into this, and I remember she told me she was quitting so that she could go into it. And I was like, for real? I was like, you can get paid to do stuff like that? So not thinking it was for me, after a while, it just hit me. And I was like, you know what? I really want to do that. And so that started me on my journey. And back in 2018, I fully committed to it. And in me committing to it, I had to figure out what my niche was, what my name was going to be. And my friend or my cousin, who's a PR rep, she works with different clients and then helping them brand themselves. Questionnaire, I filled it out. I was like, I don't see anything in it. And she was trying to get me to my like what's easy to talk about, like what's the easiest thing to talk about, like if you like travel. And I was like, you know what? Or when I finished writing it, she was like, it's right there. And she was like, you're chubby and black. Talk about that. And I said, OMG, I am.
Yeah.
And I tell you, everything came to my head in that moment. And I was saying it was just like all these pictures and images and potential that was there. And I knew we were on to something then. And I remember even playing around, just trying to think of a name. And I was like, what can I be? And I was like, Chubby. I was thinking about everything I could think of in that lane. And I found Chubby Diaries. And I remember even saying it to my best friend and my wife. And they was like, and they both were at the table together. And they was like, dang, I like that. And I was like, oh, y'all do? I was like, oh, yeah, we might be on to something here then.
Right.
And so that's how I got started. And months later, it took forever for me to even get the website up. But I knew that I realized that how I travel was different from how other people travel. And it was, I got like with my wife and we started traveling. And I realized, I was like, oh, you don't think about like size restrictions or weight limits? Like you just jump on the plane, you ain't got to worry about none of that.
This is the conversation you had with your wife, right? Wow.
So I'm thinking to myself, I was like, well, if I'm going through it, I mean, other people might be going through it too. And then I was like, man, I honestly have been navigating travel because I have been traveling already. I started traveling internationally back in 2005. So it was then that I was just doing it. I was just out there living my best life. And like navigating it and knowing that there were restrictions and things like that, I just kept going. And so to be able to articulate that and put it on paper or put it in a video, that was one thing that I had to learn and how to do it. And so once I started doing that, that's when things started opening up. People started being like, you know what, I identify with that. Oh my gosh, I go through the same thing. I have the same thoughts. And I was like, wait, you really have the same thoughts as me? I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I found my people. So like, community of Chubby Diaries and helping chubby people travel the world, that's been my goal, and it's been great. They've gotten me, my audience, I feel like, has gotten me, and community have gotten me to do things that I normally wouldn't do, like jump off of mountains and or jump off
and scuba dive,
go swimming with great white sharks. And I mean, it's more to come too. So it's just been a really cool thing. And one thing that I'm think about is like, how do we continue to grow and how do we continue to be a resource to these people, to this marginalized group of people out there?
You know, it's important that you said that word stands out, the marginalized group of people, because I'm almost 6 feet tall, right? I'm
Okay,
a self-proclaimed Amazon who loves Shaka Khan and glitter,
come on.
and water. But one of the things that we naturally do is we naturally adjust because we know what we can and what we can't do. We automatically think of things ahead of time, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And people that are in specific communities and whatnot, they think of things differently, not realizing that they are identifying with something that other people in society identify with as well. I have always grown up being the tallest woman in everything, the fullest person. So it's a part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you automatically identify with it. So you had a passion for traveling before. And then when you found out that other people, like basically you found your tribe, you said that they got you out of your comfort zone and challenged you to do other things. What were some things in the beginning that really challenged you? I know that one of the things that I had read was like simple things like the airline seats, the width of airline seats, and then there are some you have to check on different airline seats if they can accommodate. Some are smaller, that kind of thing. You have to get comfort seats or whatever, or things that we just automatically assume I'm just not going to do because I'm a plus size person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some of the things that you saw needed to change in the beginning, and now that you feel you're making some steps towards some changing?
Well, yeah. I mean, you named off a lot of them just then, so that was the airline seats. That definitely is one.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to like get away because I don't like sitting next to anybody. I still don't like sitting next to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I didn't have any kind of money to. I couldn't afford to sit in first class and stuff like that because first class seats are bigger. The pitch is bigger, like the dimensions of the chairs are bigger, and you're
Sure.
usually there's like a whole thing that separates you from the next person that you're by. So it doesn't even feel like you're like really technically next to somebody, or it feels like regular chairs, what you
Yeah.
normally. So there's that, but I've learned how to navigate that and how to like find an extra seat on the plane. I didn't care where I sat if I didn't have to sit next to somebody, and so it always.
Mm-hmm.
I learned about like times of flights, which flights will be more packed and which ones wouldn't, and I was just through time. But yeah, then we talk about like hotels and there being like the one size fit all robes. That's a lie. That's the biggest lie
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And talk about
Did you want to
arms,
wear the robe?
huh?
Because you want to wear the robe.
Right. I still do. I still do.
Yeah.
Um, and we talk about also like chairs like at restaurants and like arms of the chairs and how like those are like even smaller and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
so being able to have armless chairs, these are things that I think about. These are things that I always think about. I can't go to a lot of countries and go shopping, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When I'm in Japan, I know they looked at me like, what you doing in here? Like,
Right.
I got
Right.
nothing with you. So
But you turn
that
around and go to Jamaica or
huh?
Samoa, you turn around and go to Jamaica or Samoa, places where they celebrate a more plus size, a more Rubenesque body type.
Mhm,
It's different.
mhm. It is. So that was one thing that I also was trying to discover is like those places, but then also
Mm-hmm.
how do you navigate when you are in places like Europe or Asia and things are tend to be smaller and a lot of stuff is just old.
Yeah.
So we're talking like people were tiny back in the day.
Yeah.
They're tinier than people like the average like person now. So
Right.
uh, so yeah, it's just like learning and navigating through that. And what I mean by like people got me to like it was them like when I was talking about my fears and like going after stuff,
Yeah.
I I was challenged. I technically was challenging myself because of them to go and
Okay.
try things that other people weren't trying that look like me or that look like us. And so that's what I
Mm-hmm.
was doing. Like I was like, okay, I know there's a whole bunch of plus size people that ain't that don't go scuba diving. I remember I did a post on scuba diving
You
one time.
did. The one in Hawaii. I watched it.
Yeah. And when I tell you, I've never had so many responses in my DMs from people just being like, "Oh, I didn't actually know I could do this. Like, I just thought like this is something I just could not do." And I'm actually now getting like certified, Patty certified, and even last night I was over there doing my class and my
Right.
course, And I was like, yo, they have like these jokers like made this work. Like I got the BCD on, my backpack on, and everything was like perfect. Like it was even better. The fit of it was even better than before. And I have some things that I'm working on now to where I have to get scuba certified, and like the people are like going above and beyond to make sure they have custom suits and things created for me so that I can do it, and they're very affordable. So thinking it was going to be an arm and a leg, it wasn't. So I'm very pleased to know that there's ways of making things work. And so that should be a lesson for everybody, that one, to think about things, but then also know that they're like, we're smart people. Right. We're innovative people. I mean, we found a way to take hundreds of people in 20,000 feet, 30,000, 40,000 feet in the air and not die, like automatically.
With luggage.
Like with luggage. Oh my gosh, what? Right. And these that are like tons, like weigh a ton. Like exactly. It's those things that like I'm like, okay, we can figure this out. We can find a way to add extra material to a rope or something like that. But I think for me, one thing that I've been able to do a lot is bring awareness. I've been able to talk to CEOs. I've been able to talk to marketing directors, and like I tend to see that like we're not represented in magazines, and I'm talking about Black, fat, all like not to see the lack of diversity within marketing materials, within like going to a conference and seeing even at a diversity conference. I saw diversity conferences where everybody that was a speaker was a white man, and I don't get that.
In diversity conference, that's kind of
so. But I love how being able to talk to people and how many people, like, and I'm talking like big wigs within the travel space, have been like, "Huh, I never thought of this." Like, oh man, wait a minute. You know what, Jeff?
Right.
Wow, Jeff, I did not think about plus size people. It just always. And I remember talking to a retired exec, and actually, like we were sitting there, he just randomly started. He said, "You know what, Jeff?" And he started like crying, like tears in his eyes, like. And I'm like, "What was happening?" He was like, "This whole time I've been like jumping on planes and flying all over the world for years, decades, and." He said, this whole time, every time I saw a plus size person get on, I always thought about how uncomfortable I was going to be. He was like, I never thought in the moment about how uncomfortable they were. And he was like, it was almost like I wasn't even thinking of them as a human, like they had emotions. And so I was like, that's it. Yes. And I was like, my whole thing is to humanize plus size people. I think that's something that I can do well and get people and plus size people to go live life now, because you don't have to wait. And I remember a family member telling me when I told him when I started this, he was like, "Why don't you just teach them how to lose weight?" And you ain't about this. And I was like, because there's so many other platforms out there for that.
Right.
A lot of these platforms are like, oh, like even fitness, like plus size fitness. Sometimes it's like, oh, let's get you to this. Let's get you to this level.
Right.
So you can live your best life. And I'm like, no, you can start right now. You can right now. And like, I'm going to show you how you can do it right now. And I think that's the thing that was missing for a lot of things. And I think that's very inclusive in a way to where coming with that narrative.
It's incredibly empowering too, Jeff, because you're right. People automatically have this premise that I can't do this until I look like this, or I can't, even in situations, I can't have this until I have that. And of course, there's a natural order of certain things, right? But when it comes to living your life, you need to be able to enjoy yourself every day, because the amounts of depression, and if we haven't seen anything from 2020 and the pandemic, it's live your life, And I appreciate that you're out there telling people, get out there and do it, because I'm one of those spunky people. They're like, how dare you be plus size and confident? But just getting out there and living your life. What has been the some of the response? Like, what's the most impactful response that you've gotten, aside from the executive that got the tears in his eyes?
Honestly, it wasn't from the audience. It was more so from like the travel industry, like traveling leaders naming me, one of the notable people in
Huge.
travel. Like, I mean, how crazy is that? I mean, Anthony Bourdain is in that list, and Eric
Yes.
and
Yes.
all these people I follow. Steve Irwin, like I'm like in love with Steve Irwin.
Amazing.
Amelia Earhart, Kelly Edwards, and my friend um, Martinique Lewis. Like to be on that list with all of those people, people that I admire, people that I look up to,
Sure.
people that other people have just been inspired to go travel with, and to be on that list, I think is crazy and it's mind blowing, and I think it's beautiful. And so I think that was been very impactful. But then just, I mean, it's the small DMs that I get constantly of just like, hey, I just want to tell you thank you. Hey, I'm a big guy. I've been doing this long. I didn't know I could do this.
Right.
I'm so glad that I can get out there and do it now. Look at these pictures of me in these places. Like, oh man, like I'm living my best life, man.
Yes.
Taking pictures. I don't know how to take pictures. And oh my gosh, now look at this. Like before I just always showed my face. Now I'm
Yep.
showing my body. And that to me, those are those comments. Those are the things that I just think are just beautiful.
That is amazing. And that's got to make you feel amazingly good. I want to ask you something from the business perspective, right?
Sure.
How do you get in front of the businesses and what can you say to businesses here on this platform to let them know how important it is to think about plus size people and accommodations for them. What do you think it would bring to their business?
Well, yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm an entrepreneur more than I'm anything else. I feel like, and I there's I knew that I could easily talk to businesses or talk to these big companies when I brought facts and I brought stats and realized like, hey, y'all, like bring it to their attention. Hey, there's a whole marginalized group of people that have
Yep.
money and they're spending it in other places right now because y'all have
Hmm.
things accessible and available to them, and they will totally do it. And so, like they'll move past that and start thinking about like, oh, okay, yeah, we know what we need to like to start marketing to them more. And so,
Go
yeah, like
figure.
that's what I'm saying. So start being more inclusive. Like start thinking outside of just your norm. Start thinking about like
Right.
other people and like how you can reach other people. And I think that's one of the main things. Oh man, like even for me, like I work so hard and I consistently work nonstop just to make sure that like this message, this movement, the things that we're doing is heard, and like changing just the image. Like one of my biggest our motto is redefine what it looks like to travel. That's our tagline, and so
I
we're
love
redefining what it looks like. And so you can be a part of that, business owners. Y'all can be a part of what
it.
redefining
Exactly.
travel looks like, and y'all can be out there. Um, doing innovative things because it's sometimes you can get caught up in just doing the mundane. But
That's it.
how can you take that risk and be innovative? And it ain't even got to be a big risk because I love the other day I just ordered. I actually just tried on all these clothes because I'm going to Iceland in like 2 weeks,
Okay.
and um, I tried on all these clothes, like snow clothes, that I got from this place called Plus Now or Snow Now, and they're an Australian-based company that's been following me for almost 3 years now, and
It's
they
called
have plus
Snow
size,
Snow Now.
yeah, something like that, Plus Now
Okay.
or something like Plus
Okay.
Snow Plus.
Okay.
I think it's Plus Snow, yeah,
Okay.
Plus and they're Australian-based, outdoor winter outfitters. And like I got all my clothes from them, and everything fit. Like I was like, oh my gosh, guess what?
Yeah.
I bet you more plus size people would go out there if they
Yep.
knew that was available to them. They'll get out there and
Yeah.
they'll so, if they had a jacket that fit them. Because I mean, it's times like you can't even make it out the house because you're like, okay, well, what am I going to wear?
What am
How
I
am I
going
going
to
to
wear?
yeah,
That's right.
like what am I gonna wear? Like and like I'm talking like and then it's even like how do we create dope clothes for people like that aren't just like lame and
Right.
I was like I don't want to rock this like this ain't
Right.
cool. So
It'll be
it's
fly
all
and
the
full figured
element.
and fabulous.
Mhm. So it's all of those things that you can do and be innovative in to really reach this market. And I'm telling you, it's a big market. I believe 42.3% of people are considered from the market chubby. I'm gonna go with chubby, but like obese. Okay. Yeah. I'm not even talking like plus size or overweight, but like obese. Like there's a market there. And so I also feel like, man, I don't care how you think, and like if you think it's like, because honestly, people respect me so much more now than they used to when they started seeing my work ethic and everything that I always tell people, like, and I like bring that to people's attention. Like, I'm not an anomaly either. I'm the same person. I bet you there's more people out there that are just as willing and will do it too. But there's biases that go out around plus size, and that has to change as well. Right. And it's detrimental to society in a way when you have biases towards people.
Well, you know what? You mentioned something there that I wanted to touch on, right? Okay. What do you say very often in the plus community or in any marginalized community, people, if it's not in line, if you will, with societal standards or society's definition of beauty, if you will, the negative is brought out of you're advocating people being unhealthy. As opposed to trying to help people stay sane, enjoy the life they live, and get more active. If nothing else, travel makes you more active, you know. What do you say to people who may approach you with, oh, you're just promoting this. You're just promoting big people and stay big.
Well, you kind of just answered it again. Like that's it. That's it. Like I tell people all the time. Like, well, one, I'm not here to promote obesity. Like I don't actually care about that. Like that's not it. I saw you playing fitness the other day. I'm here to help people live life now. And like you said, when you talk about like people being active, like you got to go, man. Like when I go to the European places, I was just in Croatia. And while I was in Croatia, man, we walked 15, 20 miles a day.
Listen. Yeah.
We had it. Yeah. And I was like, man, my body to keep moving the way that it does, like it is traveling so much. Like even going through the airport. Right. Just through the airport. Like you are walking, you don't even realize that you walk so much through airports. Right. Get the baggage claim, all that stuff. Just all that alone is enough activity. So I'm just saying that, like, I don't see anything. And first of all, it's not on you to manage and monitor somebody else's life. But I really do believe that we can encourage people and getting people to live life now, because once again, I really do believe that fat shaming is at the core of like fat shaming somebody shaming somebody does not lead them to do anything you want them to do, like, or willingly do it. No. You know, like it does not do that. And so I think even so, like I'm even in that narrative or that mindset of like, no, I think this is the way to get people to be active. This is the way to get people to just go out there and be like have sanity. Because you said that earlier. Yes. Like people need sanity. And I was saying that like even whatever happens, like with people, however they eat and or the lack of workout or whatever you want to call it, that got them to wherever they're at. Right. Doesn't mean they're not like healthy either. Right. Because there's so many studies that show that having weight does not equal unhealth at times. Right. So it depends. And so it's all of that. I don't like getting into it as much. Yeah. Other than people, I'm here to let people live life now. And that's right. Doing.
Because my Rubenesque or plush physique is not the defining characteristic of who I am. I am also tall. I am also a sister. I am also, a community servant. I am also an advocate. I am also a person that's out here trying to change the face of the industry. And that's exactly why I created this podcast, for that reason, and migrated to you, because you're right. I'm one that'll hop on a plane or go on a cruise or do that kind of thing. But there are a lot of people who really won't, unless it's something that's clearly defined as a plus size event or a plus size cruise, because then they feel, oh, more comfortable. But we can get out there and, like you said, I love that tagline, live life now. Speaking of living life, talk to me about some of these amazing places you've been. Now, I have been just living vicariously through you guys and going on every trip. You don't even know it, but I'm with you. And especially now that we found that we may know some of the same people in Austin. Big ups to the city that keeps it weird. Tell the people about some of the amazing places you've gone and some of the things you have, the stereotypes you have demystified for plus people.
Well, yeah, I've been to about 40 something countries now, and I've been to South Africa, and my favorite country is Japan. I love the food, the culture, the traditions. I mean, I've been in a lot of places, Croatia, and I think for me, I think one thing that I have been able to do is like showing people, plus size people, they can go climb up the Great Wall of China, or get in a wetsuit, and go great white shark diving in South Africa.
Oh, that shark part, Jeff. That shark part. Listen, I'm a plus girl. And I'm not trying to just throw a whole buffet at the shark. You see what I'm saying?
That's a good one.
It's not going to be dinner time.
But you find out that like sharks are actually not that aggressive. Like they actually aren't like aggressive, especially if you're like scuba diving. Like that's definitely when you don't actually that's when you're least likely to get attacked by a shark.
Really? Is this like after lunch or something? They've already had lunch.
It's not like they're like seeking out, like even when they're biting, a lot of times it's like more so like a nose kind of reaction. Like they're almost like trying to see what it is. There's not even like a they
just kind of bumping you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even in that thing, like you learn a lot about sharks. Like I've learned a lot about sharks because I'm actually going to kill some sharks. So, but it's things like that I learned, and it's also just like me being a black man, getting over the narrative of this is what white people do,
right?
And changing that narrative as well, because I actually know a lot of people, and I've been in a couple of circles. I've been in some consulting times when the white exec was like, "Oh, well, black people don't like doing stuff like that," or I was like, "No, y'all just haven't made it available to them."
Right.
Especially these
inclusion and belonging.
Yeah, and so it's even those like cool little new phrases like sustainability and things like that. People of color and marginalized groups of people have been sustainable way longer than most people. So they're the ones going to the minimalist and things. Right. They're the ones who actually made like the industry what it is and making more pollution and stuff like that. So a lot of indigenous cultures are very sustainable.
And have the expendable cash and revenue to be able to participate. They'd like to be able to participate. You know what I mean? So just making it accessible and that type of thing. I actually saw one of your videos, and you were staying in a hostel, and you met different people, and you and the two guys were walking down the street, and you tried the different foods. I love that you are showing everything. You're showing the people that you meet, because it constantly changes that narrative. It helps people. You're doing a service to this industry, to the community in large ways, because it's letting people know, oh, travel can expose me to other people, other cultures. I can have friends across the world and continue to live life now. Which brings me to how you're trying to not just diversify the DIBS, the diversity, inclusion, and belonging amongst plus, but amongst with the Black Travel Alliance. I'd love to touch bases on that and exactly what you're doing there. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, Black Travel Alliance was birthed out of the Black Lives Matter movement that happened back in June of last year. And especially we kind of got more so offended by the travel industry and how so many people started posting those black squares. And so a group of my colleagues all got together and met up and was like, what can we do? and we came to the conclusion of starting a nonprofit to bring more awareness and amplification, accountability to the travel industry. And we started with the campaign called Pull Up for Travel, where we got it from another young lady who was doing similar things of like telling the industry that she was in to like show us your numbers, show us that, like show us how many Black people you got employed, like specifically Black people.
That's
and
right.
The numbers were just tremendous or horrendous. I mean, you talk about some people being like, no, we don't have any, to we only have like one or two. And so, and like, it was really sad. And so, and you talk about big companies. And so it's bringing awareness. And I think it was showing, it was very telling a lot of ways that way, but then just the things that we've been able to do since, with the team, and it's just been great. Like being able to put out a whole research document. We did research on Black travel and how much is spent on Black travel a year. And I believe domestically and internationally, it was about $129 billion was spent on by African Americans here in America. So that was a beautiful, beautiful number. And then then being able to give out scholarships and things like that to creators and
I love
to help them grow even more. And so it's been a blessing. I'm not as involved as I was before. We just got very busy, but the team and everybody over there is just doing such a great job now.
I love it because I used to work with the world headquarters for the NAACP in Baltimore.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people and there, and I know there's a report that is put out about the Black travel industry. And of course, the National Coalition of Black Media Professionals puts one out every year. And then I want to give a shout out on this podcast to Chantel Clee-Goins. She started a company, an industry to create basically a green book, if you will, of Black resources in travel and every other industry. It's called Recycle the Black Dollar. Wow. And definitely there are people like yourself and entities that are out there calling people to a standard. We are no longer in a world where we can just go with what's in our little square. We've got to be inclusive in order for us to survive, frankly. So, yeah, tell me something. How can people find you? Because I know they want to follow you. I want them to follow you. So tell the people where they can go.
Y'all can visit me on Instagram at Chubby Diaries __. TikTok is Chubby Diaries. And then my website is chubbydiaries.com. Those are different places that you can find me. And yeah, I'm excited to share great opportunities that I have. And I'm so thankful to be on this show today. And it's such a blessing to be able to have these moments. And I was like, this is work for me right now. Like just talking to you, like having a conversation and being able to share with other people the message that we are trying to show here with Chubby Diaries. And so I just want to tell you, thank you again for having me on.
You are so welcome, Jeff. That is exactly why I started HospiTellTheTEA, because I want to put a face to hospitality. I want to be able to travel and be able to see people that look like me and that look like you and that kind of thing. Just create a more inclusive world. So I love what you're doing. I am a tremendous fan. I will continue to follow. And whenever you're doing anything else, you let me know. You are always welcome on HospiTellTheTEA to make any announcements, to let things be known. Give me a quick snippet of what's next for you. What are some other countries you're getting ready to go to? I know you mentioned Croatia.
Yeah, so I'm going to Florida. I'm going to the Keys next week, and then I have Iceland the week after that, and then a week or so after that, I go to Hawaii, and then that next week after that, I'm in Zanzibar in Tanzania.
Now, Jeff, on a side note, we're going to have another discussion on how this HospiTellTheTEA can go and profile people all over the globe. Okay, we'll have a different discussion.
I love it.
Jeff, Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much for being an advocate and trying to build that unity and diversity and inclusion and belonging and just making life fun and getting people to live life now. Man, you're doing a tremendous job. And I can't wait to see the other things that you're going to do, especially the scuba.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. And I really appreciate you.
You're very welcome, Jeff. You have a great day. And I thank you again. Enjoy Austin. Keep it weird.
That's it. Thank y'all so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye, Jeff. Bye-bye. Wow. That man, I'm totally blown away by Jeff. I mean, what more can you say? HospiTellTheTEA is having award-winning content creators, people who are shaping the industry, literally, who are changing the face of hospitality. And that's why HospiTellTheTEA has come along. I wanted to share some different things with you guys just to follow up. I really hope you can go and follow Jeff's YouTube channel and his Instagram under Chubby Diaries. I wanted to share a few different things with you guys. If you are a person who is plus size and you have trepidation about traveling, trepidation about even flying on an airline, look up different things that may help you. There are some different size-friendly airlines. Most airlines definitely require you to lower both armrests and buckle your seatbelt using only one extender if you need it. But just make sure that you possibly go online and purchase an extender yourself. An adjacent seat, if you need an extra seat, it's called a comfort seat. Okay, it's called a comfort seat. You have to call the airline directly and ask about the comfort seat. And of course, the policies differ by the airline and by the country, but they do have them. The standard width of airline seats, it's about 18 inches, but it's been shrinking down. It's down to almost like 16 now on a lot of airlines because they're trying to put more seats in there in order to get more people to fly, to transport more people, to make more money. So, you definitely want to be aware of that. You can go to a website called Seat Guru, www.seatguru.com, to see a lot of the options. For instance, Canada's Air Transit, they're 16 and a half inches in width. Hawaiian, Delta, and Allegiant, their seats range between 16.8 to 17.5 inches. And it's interesting because I know that there are many people who are watching this podcast, and you may be a slimmer person or never had the challenge, but HospiTellTheTEA is here to put a face to hospitality. All people need to, just like Jeff said, live life now. And that means that plus people of other races, religions, cultures, they still need to travel too. So we definitely want to make sure that we do all that we can to make sure that people are inclusive. If you are a plus person, recognizing, your presence whenever you're traveling, it's always going to be there. You just are who you are. Arrive early. Go to the airport early first, after everything that has happened, just with airlines and things like that. You don't want to be rushing through. You never know if you'll get held up going through the scanners or whatnot. Always go through, get to the airline early, go to the restroom, whatever, that kind of thing. Be kind to folks. Don't just assume, and this is for anybody, no matter the size, be kind to folks. Carry your own robe. Carry your own towels, because the standard towels in hotels and in resorts, they don't necessarily accommodate for plus size people. A lot of things say one size fits all, when in all honesty, it's more like one size fits most. Okay, so definitely want to be aware of that. Now, you can also choose destinations where big is beautiful. There are some countries where larger bodies or more Rubenesque body types are appreciated. They can be Jamaica. Somebody told me that in Jamaica, it said Bone is for the dog, meat is for the man. Well, hello. Okay. Samoa, Fiji, like Jeff said, South Africa, Gambia, Egypt, Kenya. On conversely, some countries that are not as appreciative, by and large, okay, of plus size bodies because they don't necessarily have a lot of accommodations and clothing would be some of the Asian countries. I wanted to share something with you as well. There are travel agents that specialize in plush travel, specialize in it. They look for different resorts that are able to accommodate. They look for airlines. They know the laws and the rules for the different airlines, for the comfort seats and things like that. There's a website called Abundant Travel. Though they're called Abundant Travel, their website is actually travelabundantly.com. Travel abundantly. And the founder, which is Tony Harrell, for this, he was a former board member for the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance. So he definitely has a heart behind it. But definitely remember that you are amazing and you are gorgeous and all of those good things. Because I just want to make sure that you know that here on HospiTellTheTEA, we're trying to make it inclusive for everybody. So that is that. I want to switch now to one of my favorite segments, part of my favorite segment. All the segments on HospiTellTheTEA are my favorite, but especially today. But I wanted to switch to Tell the Tea, okay? And talk to you about something that's kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys have heard about it though. Recently, there was there was someone who posted on Twitter. They did a tweet and said that they wish that there was an adult-only airline because they just couldn't keep traveling with children and things like that, and it was just something. Well, they tweeted it, but there are some people and their responses are unbelievable. Okay. So I just wanted to share with you a few of the responses. Okay. One said, every time I see a kid on a flight, I pray they not sitting beside me. I don't got the patience. You never know what's going on with that person before they even get on their flight, how their day has been, and things have been crazy. And in defense of the little people, honestly, their ears are popping. Airports don't sell gum. You can't chew, if they're not, nursing or having a bottle, their ears aren't popping. So they're in a little pain. They're little people, so they're going to cry. They're going to be confused. Another response that somebody had, though, because somebody jokingly, allegedly jokingly said, get a baby Benadryl before you get on the plane to try to make them sleep. Well, people were not fans of that. He said, don't fall for the Benadryl trick. Giving a child Benadryl or diphenhydramine may have the opposite effect of drowsiness. The child may be hyper instead. And then there's another one that says, I'm a parent, though my kids are old enough to not be crying on planes now. I think it's a great idea. It will be a lot less stressful on parents flying if those flights were available. At least to the people being jerks about it, you could say, guess you should have booked a childless flight. You took your chances on this one, so you only have yourself to blame. We were pretty lucky with our kids being pretty adaptable. Preparation helps, but it isn't everything. But there are uncontrollable factors when flying with little ones. It's so true. You can't determine how a child's going to respond. You're just not able to do that. But what do y'all think about that? Do you think that there should be an airline or a few flights that are just adults only where children aren't allowed? Let me know. Write to me on HospiTellTheTEA at gmail.com and let me know what you think, because I want to know what your thoughts are about these adult only airlines and stuff. I want to know what you think and get a little feedback, because I want to report on it on the next show. But more than anything, I want to just say thank you again to the amazing Jeff Jenkins, who was here, who has traveled the world, who has done amazing things to promote the plus size industry. And we didn't get to touch bases on things, but he is actually doing the Zanzibar and Tanzania. He did say a little bit about it earlier, that he's doing Zanzibar and Tanzania next. But I want to make sure that you all know to follow him and make sure that you learn more about this amazing guy and what he's doing. I am so honored to have had this award-winning content creator on HospiTellTheTEA. If you have any questions, please let me know. And just like I say with every single episode, Dr. Maya Angelou says, people will forget what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Make someone feel special. Okay? Thank you for joining this episode of HospiTellTheTEA. You have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.